Born Ushago girl from primary school to high school to join a college in Nairobi. But the thing is, I was even knowing where I was going. That was the problem. I have to count to barabara. That's how I mastered the places where I was afraid kupotea, and I never got curious.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to you now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Regina, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for always coming back. Guys, please consider subscribing. Also like the video. Actually, first like the video, then subscribe. So today is another day, and on today's video, it's more of a storytelling, and the reason for these stories here and there is so that the OG of these channels from now on will know me well, like more of a personal level. Yeah, so as you can tell from the title, yeah, my video is about my first experience from kutoka Ushago and coming to the city. Disclaimer, I'm a born Ushago girl. I'm a village born girl. Nimezaliwa Ushago na nimelelewa Ushago all my life. Yeah, and yeah, so let's start from me being born in a village. Yeah, I went from primary school to high school. Actually, my high school was a day school. I never went to boarding school. So then after high school, that's when I got a invitation letter to join a college, more likely in Nairobi, but in Kiambu. Okay, watu wako huku Nairobi wataelewa. Most metropolitan towns are in Kiambu. What am I saying? Like Nairobi town, town mingi zenye zimekaribia Nairobi ziko more of Kiambu County. I'm talking about Githurai, mostly 45. I'm talking about Kiambu town. I'm talking about Thendegwa. I'm talking about Ruiru. I'm talking about where else? Okay, most of the towns zenye zimekaribia Nairobi ziko Kiambu County sana, and where most of the people live. Talking of Wayakiwe, hii imeelekea mpaka Kikuyu, so most of the towns there Kiambu County. So to be specific, niliitwa Kiambu Institute KIST. It's along Kiambu Road. Yeah. So the thing is, that school at that time, there was no admission letter. You download them from their website and then fill in and everything, blah blah blah, and then come on the admission day. No, you had to come to the school, get your admission letter, then go back home, fill in everything, and come back with everything, the requirements, the medical, whatever, all of them, after you get the letter from the school specifically. And the plan was, my dad aikujie Kiambu because he's familiar with the city and everything, considering it would be my first time. But again, I don't know what changed his mind, and he said I think it's time I get used to being on my own. You know, especially considering ukisomea day school, every day you go back home, so you don't have that homophobia. You know, you never have that because you're always with your parents, you're always with your friends, you're always with your neighbors, your family and everything. Yeah, so my dad said it's a good idea I go so that I get lost until I know where I'll be going and I get familiar with the place. Yeah, and so, but here's the twist. Yeah, my friend, he was my classmate in high school. Tuliitwa the same college. We came with him. Tulikuja na yeye mpaka shule and we got our admission letter. But now there is this bus in our village. It's called Jakwe. People from there know it. Yeah, hutoka saa 7 ya usiku and by probably saa 3 saa 2 hivi uko Nairobi. So we used that bus. Yeah, and so like huyo makanga alituacha hapo Pangani. But here is the thing. Alikuwa amesahau we are with the guy. So alikuwa ametoa kijana na cause hufai kushukia hapo ilikuwa imeenda. And the time I was getting out of the bus, kulikuwa kumeshashikana jam and the guy alikuwa shapita barabara and I was confused. And the guy akapanda mat na akaenda. Now I'm alone and he is my only hope. Wow, it was so tough. I remember I almost cried, and the person who was supposed to guide me was my uncle. My uncle used to live in Nairobi that time, and I called him, and he kept telling me, don't trust anyone with your phone. And then he calls me and tells me, give that person next to you the phone so that I can talk to them. And I'm like, okay, who should I trust? I remember looking at a lot of people there, wondering, who should I give my phone? Then I came across this guy. He looked trustworthy. I don't know. Like, I felt he's trustworthy. And I told him, sasa, kuna mtu anataka kuongea na wewe. And I remember they talked with my uncle. And yeah, akanieka kwa gari ya Kiambu town. And I remember telling that makanga, unieke Kiambu Institute of Science and Technology kwa gates. And he was like, oh yeah, nitakumbuka. And he never remembered. And I found myself, watu wanashuka wote. And I had to ask him, hapa ni Kiambu Institute of Science and Technology. And he laughed like a fool. I remember I felt like crying. That's not even funny. So he told me to just stay there, and the matatu ilikuwa ipange line, so ikapanga line, and I was still there until ikafikiwa. And then we went, akanieka hapo na akaniambia, no, it's not called that. Ukisema kissed, mtu atakumbuka, but ukitaja the whole name hakuna mtu atakumbuka. But how was I supposed to know that? Yeah, and I remember I went there, I took my calling letter, and when I was going at the gate, I found that guy waiting for me there. And he is so patient, because I can't even remember how long I took. I can't even remember. So we went back to tukafika Tao, and my phone was dead. I had this little phone that my mom bought me when I was done with my KCSE. When I was done with Form 4, he bought me a small smartphone. It was Itel, and I loved that phone. But now the problem was the battery. It was so weak. That phone, ikiwa 100%, give it 3 hours and it's dead. So, considering nilitoka ushago saa 7 ya usiku and it's night, so I have to be on my phone. The moment nilikuwa nafika shule, my phone was already dead. Yeah, so I remember we went penye tuliwekwa na bus. If you know Kiambu, not the matatus that goes to BS, the buses zinasimamanga hapo Tomboya Street, hapo Commercial, Quickmart. And I remember that time ilisimama penye kulikuwa na, was it called Tuskys? Yeah, Tuskys. Yenye ilifungwa. And we stood there, and the guy I gave nilikuwa nimeandika namba ya niko yangu kwa mkono na bairo. So I called my uncle, and he told me, I go asking, sijui buses za kwenda, I won't say where I used to live, but the buses were there, Ronald Gala, na uko chini, Madhai's supermarket. It was so fun. So I remember calling him, and he told me to ask around, and the phone was already dead, and the guy had to go. Alikuwa anarudi ushago the same day. But for me, I was to go at my uncle's, stay there for it's my first time to come to Nairobi, so I can't come and go home. I must stay for a little while and then go back home. So I was to clash at my uncle's. Yeah. And so my phone was dead. Dead. And the person that I asked the direction, yes, he told me, but he assumed I kind of knew where I was going, so the explanation was so dull. I don't know. So I went. There's like a shop there. I usually go there so many times. I don't know that guy, even if I don't even think he noticed. But I usually go there and make sure that I buy something to support him, because he really helped me that day. He charged my phone. Yeah, and I remember ilifika 20% and I took it and nikaanza kuteremuka. Yeah. And the funny thing was, nilipitishwa every time, like the place aliniambia nishukishiwe, and I remember I told makanga and I kept reminding him. Now the problem is, nilianza safari saa 7 ya usiku and now I'm so sleepy. So the fact that I was like nikiingia tu kwa mat, I sleep. But the thing is, I was even knowing where I was going. That was the problem. So I remember I kept reminding that makanga nikienda sasa kwa my uncle's, and he kept saying, yeah, I remember, yeah, nakumbuka. Do you know alinipitisha? And that woman that was sitting beside me was the one who asking me, so ulisema unashukia mahali fulani? I can't remember even. Siwezi kumbuka sasa ilikuwa wapi. And I said, yes. Umeshapitishwa, ni pale kwa ile church. And that woman was mad. Kwa huyo makanga akamwambia, huyu msichana amekukumbusha every now and then na bado ukumbuki. Akasema, no, I'm so sorry. Shuka hivi, tembea hivi, nini. But I got there and nikarudi and tukapatana na my aunt. Yeah, and that's how I came nilikuja mara ya kwanza. Yeah, and now the admitting time, tukiadmitiwa sasa shule, I came back with my sister, but hatukupitia tao. We tulipitia Lemuru, tukakuja hivi. We came, picked my another uncle mwenye alikuwa anatusaidia with everything. Yeah, and I came and settled. Now the fun was here. After I got admitted, I remember that time going to Tao from Kiambu, hapo Kist. It was 20 bob, 30 bob, 20 bob, 30 bob. So me and my friend used to go to Nairobi, like Tao sasa, more often. So like I could nilikuwa nashika barabara. Like sasa ninajua penye nikiwekwa na basi ya Kiambu ndo nifike Runangala ya kwenda kwa kina anko yangu, I have to count to barabara. So I could count 1, hiyo ni Atiru, guys, if you don't know. 2, Rudhuri. Now and the third one inateremka Tomboya Runangala Street. That's how I mastered the places where. And the first time, for me, I was never curious. Like, when you want to huende Tao and they start like kuzurura nini. No, I never did that. I was going specific to where I was going, because let me tell you, I was afraid kupotea. I was so afraid. So I used to mark, not buildings actually. I never marked buildings. If it's certain place, I count the to barabara. If it's archive, how did I go to archives? I can't remember that one. Yeah, but I was so strict. I remember, sasa the thing is, sasa kuenda kwetu, basi ya kwetu, I used to use a bus. Usimama uko Machakos bus station. Not bus station, no, Machakos. Naitwa aje? The name is even there, I used to count the barabaras. Then I knew nikiteremka nifike petrol station. Then I go, I pata kinyumba iko na net ya green. Then you guys, you have no idea. Then I go, I see a bridge. Then guys, you have no idea. I used to mark those roads very well, and I never like got curious. But I think by the second year of the school, and considering we used to go to Tao more often because it was cheap. 20 bob, 30 bob, it's so cheap. And now kutoka Kiambu hadi Tao ni 100, 100 bob. By that time we enjoyed, and that's how I found myself like right now. I won't say that that I'm so familiar, but I can't get lost like kitambo. You get? But kuna places hadi wa leo I've never been curious, and I don't want to be curious, because If I don't have business there, what's for? What is it for? Yeah. And it's been, that was 2019 September, because I got admitted in 2019 September, and I think it's been some years from there. Yeah, and I've lived different areas. Like I've lived Dagoretti, side za Karen, I've lived in Kiambu, I've lived in Thika Road, I've lived in hizo side za kina Dandola nini kunaitaje, yeah, those places. Like I've lived some areas, so like I'm familiar right now. I won't say I'm so familiar, but right now I think I have some experience. And considering I nilitoka Ushago and I found myself in the city, it's an achievement, because kukaa Ushago all your life and you have to write those inshas and composition, a visit to the city you have never visited, the city you just keep on seeing on TV, then coming to live. I remember that day when I was coming, that bus ilifika around saa 2 and I was like, hizi manyumba. And you know, there are people who haven't got even the chance to visit a city, which is okay. I've never been in Mombasa, and that's my dream. Like I really want to be in Mombasa. I'm manifesting to be in Mombasa. I've never been there, and I would like to be there. So like I think everything, because consider, like, if maybe I got, niliitwa shule kama ya Nakuru, Eldoret, nini, maybe, you never know, just maybe I will never get a chance. So I think everything has its own reason, and I think whatever you desire, you get. Yeah. So God, I desire to be in Mombasa for a good trip. I don't know how to swim, but naeza cheza tu na mchanga. I don't care, but I want to be in Mombasa. So that's all for today. Guys, remember, consider subscribing. Like, guys, especially like. Also share my videos to your friends. I know you guys want to see me grow. And thank you so much for supporting me. I really don't take it for granted. I'm so thankful. Yeah, and guys, see you on another video.